welcome to my channel. Today we're looking at unseen poetry, and our learning objective is to be able to explore how poets use language, form and structure in an unseen poem. Let's begin. Okay, the big question that I would like you to think of is, does the title of a poem really matter? Is it of any importance? Let us think about that. And for your do now, I would like you to look at the title of the poem that we will be looking at today. It is called To a Daughter Leaving Home. I would like you to quickly predict what this title may encourage the reader to think about, or what this poem will be about. Okay, so we have thought about our title and started to unpick that. Let us look at the question that we will be answering today. How does the poet present the speaker's feelings about her daughter? Now, before we even start to read the poem on your unseen paper, you need to read the question before you read the poem. And the reason for this is that it will help you to focus on what you're really looking for when you read the poem. So after we've read the question, I would like you to highlight the key words in the question. Let's look back at the question. How does the poet present the speaker's feelings about her daughter? So the key words here would be present and feelings. So that's what we will be looking at when we read the poem. So I will now read to you the poem. I would like to think about the poem and the connections with the title as I go through. To a daughter leaving home. When I taught you at 8 to ride a bicycle, lopping along beside you as you wobbled away on 2 round wheels, my own mouth rounding in surprise when you pulled ahead down the curved path of the park. I kept waiting for the thud of your crash as I sprinted to catch up, while you grew smaller, more breakable with distance, pumping for your life, screaming with laughter, the hair flapping behind you like a handkerchief waving goodbye. And as I said before, we're looking at how the poet presents the speaker's feelings about her daughter. So when we are answering this question, we're going to do MITSL and P as well. And I'm going to tell you what that acronym stands for and how it's going to help you. We're also going to think about how much time should I spend on this section, what should I do in the introduction, and how should my answers look. So we're going to be answering these questions as we go through today's lesson. So we're going to spend 30 minutes on this section, 10 minutes reading and planning, and 20 minutes writing. So MITSL plus P. So the M stands for meaning, the I stands for imagery, the T stands for tone, the S stands for structure, and the L stands for language. And of course, the P is the personal response. So let us just go through some of these things. So for meaning, we're thinking about what is the poem about? We're thinking about who is the speaker? Are they dramatized? Are they a character in the poem? Who is being spoken to or addressed? What is being spoken about? The themes of the poem. What is it really about? We're also looking at the setting or the culture. Where is the poem set? What culture is it from? What culture is it about? Where does the poem get to from start to end? How would the poem be spoken? Would it be angry? Would it be sad? Would it be nostalgic, bitter, humorous, etc.? For the structure, we're looking at rhyme. Is there a rhyme scheme? Are there couplets? Is there an internal rhyme going on? We're going to look at rhythm. So how many syllables per line? Is it regular or free verse? What are some different lengths to others? We're also looking at the stanzas. How many? How do they change? Is there a narrative going on? We're looking also at the lines. How many are there in each verse? Do some stand out? Do we have enjambment going on? Do the lines run on to the next line or stanza? For the imagery, we're looking at, do we have alliteration, assonance, metaphor, simile, personification, and the others? And then language, we're looking at what kinds of words are used. So do we have a play on words? Do we have connotation? Do we have double meanings? Do we have ambiguity? And all of those. And then for the personal response, you need to compliment, criticize, or say how you feel. So that is our MITSL and P. So we're going to start answering this question. But before we do so, so that is the structure that I would like you to fill in. So think about the speaker's thoughts and feelings, and think about which element of MITSL that you're going to use to justify it. Is it the language that you're going to focus on? Is it the form? Is it the structure, etc.? So just want you to have a look how it is done. So in the introduction, you need to say the meaning of the poem and answer the question. Okay, so this is an example of how that is done. For example, into a daughter leaving home. Paston tells the story of a mother and daughter relationship through the specific event of teaching her child how to ride a bike. This event acts as a metaphor for the mixed emotions the speaker feels about her daughter growing up. On the one hand, she feels joy at her daughter's success, but on the other hand, a sense of sadness and worry and not being able to protect her daughter and losing control of the relationship. So this introduction tells us what the poem is about. It also tells us what feelings are presented. And then as we go along, we need to put peel in our answer as well. So we're looking at what feelings are presented, what do the different elements of MITSL show, what is the reader's reaction, and what is my reaction? So let's look at the paragraph. Into a daughter leaving home, Paston presents the speaker's feelings of fear and sadness as she watches her daughter ride into the distance. These feelings are presented with use of a simile, the hair flapping behind you like a handkerchief waving goodbye, to demonstrate how the speaker feels she is losing her daughter as she grows up. The comparison to a handkerchief confirms the link to sadness as it is associated with wiping away tears. Also, the use of enjambment in this quote emphasizes the speed of which the speaker feels her daughter is growing up and links to the idea that the speaker is worried that time is moving too quickly. The poet also uses a negative and fearful lexis, throughout the poem, wobbled, crashed, breakable, and screaming, to highlight the concern the speaker has about the dangers and uncertainty her daughter will face. The presentation of fear leaves the reader feeling sympathy for the speaker because they can relate to a mother and child relationship, and in my opinion, the poem has successfully developed a melancholy tone to help present the paradoxical grief a parent feels at watching their children grow up. So we have looked at the models, we have looked at the acronym that we're going to use to help us to look at the different parts and really address AO2, the language, the structure, the form. So I'm just showing you the different levels that you can achieve, and we'll start with the lower levels and go up to the higher ones. So level 4, clear understanding. So it's clear, it's explained, the response is linked to the task. There is effective use of references throughout, and that would give you a level 4. And level 3, it's explained, structured comments. Level 2, supported relevant comments. And level 1, simple explicit comments. And of course, I know that you all will be working towards a level 6, getting it convincing, getting it critical, getting your analysis to be very conceptualized. Level 5, thoughtful, developed, considered.